Your second stimulus check goes to a big battle on Christmas Eve. The question is, what do they want to deliver in the gift? If you're talking about the Democrats, they want to give a $8 billion gift to foreign countries for Christmas. If you're talking about the Republicans, they want to remove that gift but may not want to give you a stimulus check. And then about the Smithsonian, yeah, I think you're going to Christmas at the Smithsonian for a $1 billion renovation if you're aligned with the Democrats. Not so if you're with the Republicans. Today, not one, not two, but several votes went underway in the House of Representatives over your second stimulus check, but they were not conclusive. What is conclusive is what's happening next week, and it's very confusing and very complex. Meantime, the president's off to Florida, may stay in Florida to January. So is that $2,000 stimulus check a reality, or are we going back to $600 stimulus check? Depends on who you ask. I have all the analysis. It's very confusing, but I'm going to make it simple on this Christmas Eve recording of Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Afternoons LALATE. I'm so glad you joined me here on a Christmas Eve recording of Afternoons LALATE. I am here throughout the day and we're recording on the usual time slots. The only difference is Purple Power Live tonight will be this channel's first ever Christmas party. So join me tonight on Purple Power Live for an impromptu Christmas party. But if you've not subscribed, please subscribe because I'm going live and going taped, and I'm also delivering breaking reports as they hit. There was a breaking report earlier today, which you may have saw, that fell between Mornings LALATE and Holidays LALATE. And because of that, there will not be a third stimulus check video this afternoon. Rather, I'm going to encompass those details into this recording. So please subscribe. No one's fighting to get you money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now, but money right now. And now you see the importance of state stimulus when you listen to this recording, which is very confusing, but I'm not going to make it easy. Also, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. In this video, I'm going to go over what's going on with House representatives today about your stimulus. Where is the new battleground? Have we suddenly become partisan? And what's going on with that bicameral, bipartisan spirit we had just a few days ago? Is it gone? And meantime, are we going back to the $600 stimulus check from the efforts to do $2,000? And is this an effort to give you nothing or something? I'll go over all those details and more. And with that, so glad you joined me on this Christmas Eve. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that the spirit of Christmas differs depending if you're speaking to a Republican or a Democrat. The Democrats and Republicans took partisan positions this morning, doing not one but two votes on the House floors. First, the House Democrats called what's called a vote of unanimous consent. It calls for unanimous vote because there wasn't a lot of people in session. It's called a pro forma session. So if a few people present, they're asking for unanimous consent. One vote of no does not give the unanimous consent, obviously. So they called for unanimous consent to amend the second stimulus bill of last weekend to switch the $600 check to $2,000 as the president so asked. It did not include the three other items the president also asked to be amended. Why? More about that in a second. One vote of dissent. The vote was killed. Then it was the Republicans' turn. They did a vote of non-consent to amend the bill for their purpose. One, to remove the federal aid to countries around the world, $8 billion. And when I use the word aid, I'm being loose with the words. By all accounts, it's not really aid for people in need. It's aid for militias and things like that. The vote of dissent came in, and their effort denied as well. So nothing got passed, and then started the partisan bickering across news reports. But then came Roy Blunt, a Republican, a senator, Missouri, the same state where your favorite Josh Hawley's out of, also Republican. He said what's going to happen Monday will not be good. And let me explain to you what he's predicting. On Monday, Nancy Pelosi, and Tuesday, Nancy Pelosi's going to take the same bill that she did today and call it for a vote when more members are present, a normal vote, and it's going to pass. And then it's going to go to the Senate. So then what's going to happen in the Senate? Senator Blunt said his own blunt response. Nothing. He says the bill's going to die in the Senate and is never going to call for a vote. So then what happens to your stimulus check? You're not going to get a stimulus check. You're not going to get $600. You're not going to get $2,000. Which one is it? It's really unclear. Here are the permutations. There's a lot of possibilities that could happen. One, the president's table still has on it the stimulus bill passed by Congress a few days ago. It's a $600 stimulus check bill. It has the federal foreign governments in it. It has the $1 billion for the Smithsonian. The president has vowed not to touch it. If he doesn't touch it, it would become a pocket veto. There is enough votes in the Senate and enough votes in the House to override a pocket veto, to make it law and to have the check go out to you. That's good news. So why are senators and House members not doing an override of the veto? They still have time to make that decision, but it's not clear why they haven't done that. Second, if Nancy Pelosi does push with the amendment of the bill and sends it to the floor of the Senate, then the bill has then started to the amendment, and at that point, we could repeat this process. And if the Senate doesn't take it up, you have no bill passed from Acts of Congress. Third, there's another question about what will happen about all this. If the president doesn't accept or sign the bill that's on his table, and no one overrides the veto, and no one overrides his actions, it will die. The bill will die. There will be no overriding a pocket veto. There will be no veto. There will be nothing. The bill will be dead as though it never existed. Second, that's a $600 stimulus bill. Second, if Nancy Pelosi's $2,000 stimulus bill never goes anywhere, then ultimately that doesn't do anything either. So why is this happening? Why is this happening even on Christmas Eve? It's not clear, but I'll tell you why it has happening. The procedural aspect of it is very clear. The rationing is unclear. Let me explain simply what's going on. The president asked for 4 things. Of those 4 things, Nancy Pelosi is only doing one of them. On the Republican side, they're only doing a different one. None of the 2 sides are doing all 4 things the president asked for. Why not? That's the question no one knows. Today, Nancy Pelosi was asked, and her Democratic leadership was asked, why not take out the foreign aid for foreign governments? Wouldn't take it out. Why not take out the money for the Smithsonian? Wouldn't take it out. Then the Republicans on the other side, what are they doing? They're using the Smithsonian and they're using the foreign aid controversies that they are taking out to deflect and not respond to the issue of the $2,000 stimulus check. In essence, they're avoiding even discussing a stimulus check by dealing with the other 2 problems and saying Nancy's not taking care of the 2 problems. You have 2 sides who have 4 items to deal with, and neither side is dealing with all 4 items. And as with that, they don't have anything the president would assign. And ironically, nothing that the American people would agree to. American people all over Twitter for 2 days was absolutely at arms over the foreign aid to foreign countries. America doesn't want it. America also doesn't want $1 billion given to the Smithsonian during an emergency stimulus bill. This is an emergency stimulus bill. Why is the Smithsonian getting $1 billion to paint their walls? Doesn't make sense. So America doesn't like what's going on. The president doesn't like what's going on. So what is Congress doing? Going back to being partisan. And so what does this mean for you? What does this mean for the stimulus check? Is it going out? It's not going out yet. Is there a path to get this to go out? There is paths to get it to go out. 1, Nancy and the Democrats understand that the 4 things need to be done. 2, the Republicans realize there's 4 things to be done. 3, they put it to a vote and they have enough votes to send it to the president and then he'll sign it. He said he would. He said it on national news. He made the recording. 4th, to get enough votes again to override a veto like they have from last time. Or, in the alternative, to go back to the original $600 bill and simply just do an override of the veto right now in the next few days. They can do all those things, but at the moment they're being partisan and not doing anything. So your stimulus check not going out yet. Also, your UI and PUA expiring tomorrow. PEUC and, not tomorrow, Sunday. PEUC and UI will expire on the 27th. So what does that mean about your benefits? There's not going to be any benefits for the first week of January or the second week of January currently. Now, does these events change where we were just a week ago? No. And so you're going to see over broadcast media already, but it's going to continue, fake narratives. These are the fake narratives you're going to see. 1, you would have gotten a stimulus check next week if it wasn't for all these people. That's untrue. One House representative, Democrat, said that yesterday. Untrue. You would never have got the stimulus check next week because the bill had not been signed, and it takes 10 days to receive the check in your hands from the day at which the president signs it. It hasn't been 10 days. It would not have been 10 days this week or next week. Next, that your UI and PUA benefits are going to expire the first week of January because of the events of this week. No, that's also untrue. That's also categorically false. Let me explain why. Yes, you will become inactive for purposes of PUA or PUC on the 27th of December if your state does not have extended weeks of benefits, but will likely. More about that in a second. But the point is that you are never, ever going to get the first week of benefits paid in the week of January on time because it takes a lag time to get those benefits paid. Congress needs to receive the money from federal government. Congress needs to update their computers, and they can't do this with a bill passed the last week of December or next to last week of December. It takes them about a half a month to a month to do this with their computers and receive the money. They would have had to have done this last month. And so ultimately, you are already going to not receive the first week of unemployment benefits in January on time, and you weren't going to receive it the second week on time either. So that's also a fake narrative. Now, is the government in a shutdown? By all accounts, we're in a shutdown or heading into a shutdown. Does that impact you? No, it has nothing to do with you. Your Social Security, your railroad benefits, your veterans benefits checks will not be held up by a government shutdown. A government shutdown only impacts you if it goes over about a month. We're not going to go over a month. So is this all going to just hang around and have nothing happen until the Biden administration? Hard to say. Yes, hard to say no. It's also hard to say what's happening in the Biden administration. Third Stimulus Check is a new hit show on this channel. It comes after Purple, generally on Afternoons LA. It won't be today because of the breaking news report earlier today, which consumed an extra recording. But let me explain to you what's in what's in Third Stimulus and what Biden is promising to give you. First, $2,400 of SSI and SSDI, $200 a month every month to December of next year. But the first month would likely not be paid on time. It would likely be late and be paid in double on the month of February, plus a 20% upgrade, lifetime up to 20%, and a new benchmark that would tie your benefits to something other than COLA. All really good news. Next, FPUC retro at $600 a week back to July. How would that be done? He would override the existing $300 bill and say this now replaces that bill. The language would replace the language of the prior bill. Next, EIDL grants, the remainder of your $10,000 EIDL grant. The remainder of your $10,000 EIDL grant and the $10,000 grant you never got because the application process was closed, the funds are gone. A lot of other great stuff, like multiple stimulus checks. Oh yes, he talked about that just a few days ago. Continuing through this pandemic until the pandemic's over. Rent aid, food aid, eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, student loan debt repayment, and all those and more. But I predict that the mortgage, the student aid, and the eviction will all be done by executive order on day one, not by act of Congress, because there's an urgency and he has the constitutional authority. There's no money involved. So all those things are coming with third stimulus, in Biden's stimulus in January. How fast is it going to come out? Well, again, this is a question of how fast Congress wants it to come out. They can get it to come out as soon as Biden comes into the administration on day one. They could literally have the bill written now, start calling for a vote next week, start working on the bill, but not send it to the president until the day after inauguration. Don't have the Senate vote until the last minute. They can have it vote and then send it to the president when he becomes inaugurated in the late January. But they haven't prepared. In fact, much of what Congress is doing is not preparing about anything. Going back to the second stimulus bill that's still sitting on the president's table, the $600 stimulus check, there's stuff in there that's great and there's stuff in there that's not so great. So let me go over the details. First, there's an eviction moratorium. Yes, it's extended to January 31st. It's not the comprehensive one I would like, but it's a CDC eviction moratorium. The one that protects you by filling out paperwork from CDC and giving it to your landlord. It's currently set to expire in late December. You need that eviction moratorium to be extended. There is no mortgage forbearance, however. That's really horrible. That will expire in late December. So that means a bank can foreclose on you on January 1. Then, student loan debt repayment moratorium or forgiveness, not in this as well. That's what Joe Biden will do. He will not only just forgive it, he's going to actually he's actually not just put a moratorium on, he's actually going to forgive it. And what about the other items in the bill? Well, PUA, UI, FPUC extended $300 a week to mid-January, to mid-March. There's other items that are really good in the bill. Rent aid, free broadband for people of an economic level or lower. And then childcare, increase of SNAP benefits, also really good. And other items across the board. But the question is whether we can get these items passed. You know, in the magnitude of what we're looking at in the bill that's sitting on the president's table, the vast majority of the items included are good. The $600 stimulus check is a slap in the face. And that the provisions that are omitted, like mortgage forbearance and student loan debt repayment, are only two of the ones that really should not have been omitted, along with adult dependent checks. So the severity of looking at what's bad in there or omitted versus the weighing the benefits of not getting anything is certainly what Congress is going to dabble with next week. Ultimately, the question is whether going to the mat over a bigger stimulus check or going to the mat over the issues of foreign governments and the museum renovations are the real deal-breaking items. It's a lot of things to debate, and ultimately you and I are on point on where those items are. Needless to say, broadcast news reporters will potentially continue to do the confusing narrative, which is unemployment benefits have stopped because of this, people are about to be evicted because of this, but they're not talking about other issues, which are why are we giving millions of dollars to foreign governments, why are we giving billions of dollars to museums, and why are we trying to really drag our feet on a small stimulus check and failure to give FPUC retroactive that should have been included as well. A lot of questions, a lot of answers. Join me next on Purple. On that video, I'll go over the big benefits that are available to you now from states, cities, and counties, and more benefits are coming as well. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay LALATE for more.